restriction, I think.
Did you like the Alien series?
I loved it.
Yes,
I saw
me
Alien
too.
when I was at school. It was 1979, right? And we had a school film club. And in the 70s, they weren't like they are now, you know. And so the first films they put on, the 3 films, I was 11, and it was Alien, Apocalypse Now, and Life of Brian.
Wow.
So that was my introduction to to cinema.
Wow. Well, those are 3 great choices.
Yeah.
But I feel like Ridley Scott's original Alien is probably one of the greatest horror science fiction movies of all
Yeah, I
time, and
agree.
one of my all-time favorite
Completely.
movies. But I really like the newer ones as well. Like I like Prometheus, and I really liked Covenant, the last one.
Yeah, Prometheus. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I
not
do.
the best one.
I
But
love the
kind of like
opening.
what they're trying to do with it. The whole idea about the engineers coming back in time, and
That's why I was disappointed with it, because I thought the setup, the opening is brilliant, and I thought this is just going to be brilliant.
Right.
And then I thought it just lost its way, and it was
Yeah.
a disappointment because it could have been so brilliant.
yes, I
think.
agree with you. Yeah, the beginning was fantastic, but I think Covenant was more exciting, and well, it's also preposterous. Like if you went to another planet, like the last thing you'd be doing is just breathing in the air, right? I mean, we'd have to be really if there was a life on the planet, we'd have to be really careful. A, not to contaminate, but B, not to be contaminated, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's also, I mean, you know, the other thing in science fiction films is gravity, because you always, even in
Yes.
Alien, you always just say the spaceship's got gravity.
Right.
Again, there's only 2001
Right.
where everybody floats around
Yeah.
because or has a spinning thing.
Right. The spaceship has gravity, and then when you land, the gravity is exactly like Earth.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, but it's
No, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it would. What are the odds that you would find a planet that is exact? Like, even if a planet was 1.5 times the size of Earth, it would have far more gravity, right? And that's really common for a planet to be like just a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And then we would be like, "Fuck!" Everywhere we'd be walking, we'd be getting crushed, right?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's not the point. It's about ideas, isn't it, science fiction?
Yes, and this whole idea where you're just supposed to let the story play out, and
Yeah. Well, I mean, Sunshine was, the premise is silly. I mean, the premise is the sun is dying, and we're going to go and fix it.
yeah.
So both of those things, it fails on its first line
Right,
a bit
right.
in terms of realism. But the idea is that it's not about that. It's about the sun as a god in some ways. So it's about our response to the power of nature, and it's about deifying this thing and worshipping it, and how ultimately you go mad. If you remember the film, there's Pinbacker, who's the first captain that went to the first mission to go and restart the sun, which is the mad bit, but then became a religious fundamentalist essentially, and then decided. It's a fascinating idea that he decides that to bring meaning to his life, he will become the last man, the last human. And so he wants to be the last. He wants the sun to die, and he wants it to take humanity with it. And he decides to make that happen. So he stays there, waiting for the second ship. And I like those ideas that, what's your reaction to the power of nature? And this happens in... It's one of the things I do in my shows. I'm not being a commercial person. I've just thought of it. One of the great things about cosmology is that it is terrifying in the truest sense of the word. I mean, we talked a bit about the size and scale of the universe and black holes colliding and those things. It is very frightening, but also the act of trying to understand our place in nature and the size and scale of the universe and our tiny presence within it is valuable. So that you can be terrified, but also inspired and interested. And it's part of, if you want to ask questions about what it means to be human and means to be alive, then I think you find the answers in confronting that reality, which is that we live in a terrifyingly vast universe. The powers in the universe that we cannot comprehend, as you said. But that's what you've got to face, because that's reality. So you can't hide your head in the sand and just duck it. And it can send some people crazy.
I'm sure. And it is really interesting that we need that suspension of disbelief in order to sort of make a film on space. You almost have to go, well, this isn't really how it would be, but this is how you have to make it in order to fit it into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah. And then the film, as with Sunshine, becomes about. Then you can have the film about something else
Yes.
because it's not really
Yes.
about that.
Well, did you like Event Horizon?
Yeah, I did actually. I thought that
It's
was
fun,
quite
right?
a cool film. Yeah,
Ridiculous.
I'm